So this is the department for complaints about employees of family court, and I want you all to hear how sick this system is. Listen carefully. Let me just get this loud and clear for you all. Now, this is with regards to Anthony Mcginty of Ulster County Family Court. Clerks, the judges, and so on and so forth.
We're only the third district.
Right, and I need the third district. That's what I need.
Okay.
That's exactly what I need. Ulster County, is that correct? I just want to verify Ulster County. So here's what's happening. And obviously this has been going on for 6 decades, and it's just like anything. If you have a medical procedure and the person's doing it wrong for 20 years, but that's the only procedure they know, then you've got a wrong procedure for years, and you could have a holistic practitioner, even with less education, and a person can be completely healed. Okay, I give that like sort of a scenario all the time to make people understand that there's more ways to skin a cow. Okay, we have a very serious issue in Ulster County, New York, and it doesn't always fall on deaf ears. We have a lot of good people, but we have a gender bias against women and children by a judge named Anthony Mcginty. And I have evidence that is absolutely overwhelming. And basically what he's done is he's stripped mothers fully of their rights completely without proper due process. What we've done this time around is we literally did 32 in Sullivan County now. So he started working over there, and now I'm getting the same complaints because I'm a national advocate, so they come to me. So I'm privy to all of this information. I see the children. It is cruel and inhuman beyond your natural. I mean, just imagine your child being abducted by a stranger and how you'd feel. Could you imagine this happening every day through a judge? And a judge that makes an order that no one's listening, because the judge can never be wrong, which we all know. Everyone's human. We all make mistakes, but these are very deliberate. And I worked with the Ulster County District Attorney's Office in 2016, and in 2017, when the ink dried on the Committee on Judicial Conduct after I complained with 70 other families, he decided to take my son and place him in harm's way for 8 months with a father who spent most of that 8 months in jail. Okay, that was retaliation number 1. The Supreme Court attorney that I have right now.
Judicial conduct to do anything for
They
you?
did absolutely nothing, and they're ignoring all of the clients at this time. Literally, no one even gets the Ambulance Initiative, which has looks very good in writing. I spoke actually against the merging because how do you abolish something and then merge it? That's actually a conundrum in words. You don't abolish and merge, you abolish and you rebuild. That's one thing. We have a very, very serious problem here. This is 6 decades of a system that's not working. And it's destroying the health, welfare, and safety of America's children, which is our future. And I have literally taken their statistics and threw them back at them, showing how it actually does this. I used their own statistics. I didn't make stuff up. So I literally left them with egg on their face and their mouths hit the floor. Okay, we have a very serious problem. So right now I have 32 mothers, and what we did is we did broadcasts where they're private right now, but in order to protect these families, we're going to be going live and public with it while we're working on a criminal complaint against him, tying the ethics, the canons, the human rights violations, and the American Disability Act, which is where I have expertise and specialty, violations against women and children. So it's a gender bias. I'm not saying that he hasn't come against some fathers, but it's very few, and they're usually very good men. The criminal ones with criminal convictions have sole custody of children, and he just did it to me again in October. He did it to me again in October. So there was a 12-year-old that was shot and killed in Kingston, New York. I have an immaculate background. And the 12-year-old that was shot and killed is a block away from where my son is living right now, in a house with 10 people in a 3-bedroom in that little ghetto. So there's been 20 homicides in Kingston, and there's been, I can't even begin to tell you how many, there's what do you call that, but there's more registered sex offenders in that particular area than there are in most of the Hudson Valley, okay? And this is not just about my child. I fight for children all the time. I've had sole custody of my son for 13 years. This makes sense. So I am currently working right now with ADA, Bill Weishaupt, and his friend, who told me he's his friend, David Clegg, okay, who's the district attorney, who also worked for the Human Rights Commission before, and Tyrone Wilson. Let me pause that, meaning David Clegg is Anthony Mcginty and Sarah Mcginty's friend. Okay, let me hit the button. Sin, who's the head commissioner of the Human Rights Commission, has ignored all the families.
Tyrone
He started
Wilson.
out court watching a little bit. I don't know.
Tyrone Wilson, commissioner of the Human Rights Commission, has ignored the families. Okay, I'm going to hit record.
If they frightened him, if they threatened him, but he no longer responds. Now, the Excellence Initiative, we've had thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of families throughout the state of New York. That's who requested I'd speak on their behalf. Contact there. They don't even get as much as an automated response. And I want to know something. Where's the excellence in that? I'm one person. I'm a single mom, and I return everybody's phone calls personally. I go into their homes.
I understand that, and unfortunately, we obviously have nothing to do with OCA in New York.
Give me some advice in that area, because I've literally gone up a little bit the food chain as much as I understood, and
well, I don't know any. I mean, I'm just guessing if it's goes beyond. I mean, if what you're alleging is,
The problem is nobody responds. Nobody responds, and it preceded COVID. I mean, this is obviously going on. He's been there for 14 years.
Let me go back, guys. I messed one up. Sorry.
Give me some advice in that area. Give me some advice in that area.
Yeah,
Give me
hold
some
on.
advice in that.
It's getting the wrong one. Sorry, hold on, guys. I don't know what's going on here. Hang on. Pardon me. This is where you skipped one.
Give me some.
Oh, just give me a second. Why is it skipping this one?
Give me some.
That's not the one we want. We want this one.
Give me some advice.
Bear with us. I'm tapping the right one, and it's hitting the wrong one.
Give me some advice. Give me some advice. Give me some advice in that area.
She's saying that because of COVID, I don't know why it's not playing that part. She's saying because of COVID, they're backed up. Okay, so I'm saying, well, wait a minute, this preceded COVID, like literally. Then don't make decisions during COVID, right? I mean,
give me some advice in that area, because I've literally gone up a little bit the food chain as much as I understood, and
I don't know any. I mean, I'm just guessing if it's goes beyond. I mean, if what you're alleging is,
The problem is nobody responds. Nobody responds, and it preceded COVID. I mean, this is obviously going on. He's been there for 14 years. It preceded COVID. I mean, and to say that if you have a system that's this busted and broken, why the heck would you be making decisions for busted and broken families? I mean,
because
that's just...
there are other people who obviously think he's great.
No, nobody thinks he's... I promise you when I tell you he ran unopposed, so how do you vote? Who's your other choice? You know what I mean? Nobody voted for him.
I know.
I mean, come on. But right now we have a problem that we need to take emergency situation at, and I'm calling everybody and their uncle, and nobody has an answer, which that tells me there's no oversight. There's no oversight. There's no accountability.
No, you are correct. There is no oversight on determining whether a judge is... That is determined by the office or the Commission on Judicial Conduct.
Okay, so how can we hold them accountable to do something about this emergency dire situation? I've got children. How would you feel if you had mothers committing suicide and children that are literally regressing from walking to crawling, pooping their pants, being molested, and he does not listen to these women? All right, and this is happening. Like, what do we do?
I understand what you're saying. I do. But it's people, there's really not anything that we could do about it.
So
especially in family court is one of you're not there because you all agree with things. So it's an adversarial court anyway. For custody and visitation and support and all that stuff that happens. And
he is an employee of the court.
What you can do is you tell me that you have a problem with a judge, and I would refer you to...
Oh, hold on. Somebody bumped in here.
Attorney's office, the assistant...
I recorded so much of this.
This makes sense. So I am currently working, right? Month of abuse he put us through, and now this recent time. And I'm watching my son deteriorate before my eyes, okay? And I don't like to be disrespected this way. I wasn't put here to be somebody's abuse victim. Okay, I'm not one of those women that allows and tolerates abuse, and I build women up all the time to not do that. I don't tolerate abuse. A lot of them stay because they're afraid that they rather have some protection for their children than none. But we need to do something as of yesterday with this man. I've literally court watched him in other cases where he literally something wasn't right. And I had two other witnesses with me, and he was under the influence of something. He had his head in his hand while he was listening, and he kept falling, like the elbow kept slipping. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put your arm down and you had your head on your hand, he kept slipping. When we tried to call to get some kind of help in there right away, normally if it was a drunk driver, you'd get help right away. But because it was a judge, we had to put it in writing. I said, by the time you put it in writing, he's making decisions. This makes sense. So I am currently working right now with ADA, Bill Weiss.
Have to realize that all of the court system is operating on very limited people working in their offices.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, it's reduced to 25%, I think it is now.
Yeah.
So because of COVID.
Right.
So when you're calling down there, you're probably not getting a response because there are people that are either, not working at all or working from home and may not have the capacity to do certain things.
And I didn't get your name. I'm so sorry because you had a call when I called. What was your name?
That's all right. It's Paula.
Hi, Paula. I'm Francesca, by the way.
Hi.
So just so you know,
and I think I've spoken to you before.
Have you spoken to me before? And this proceeded.
Unfortunately, Judge Mcginty is an elected official, and we have no. The power is when he comes up for re-election that people don't vote for him.
Right, and I understand that, but
judicial conduct is the only alternative.
Well, how do we have accountability over him and over the judicial conduct that ignores and over the commission that ignores and preceding COVID?
But then you're talking about going all the way up you have the ability to appeal any decisions.
But this is not, it's not helping. The children are in limbo and in danger at the moment. So it's not helping. So what's happening is that, think of the dominoes effect. The mothers are being deteriorated at a quick rate. The money is not there to keep fighting this. Okay, who's got this kind of money to keep fighting it? Everybody covers everything up. I mean, this is not just about an election thing. This is a community right now, health and safety risk that is sitting on a bench that's just doing whatever he wants.
If it's a human rights violation, have you contacted any federal agency?
Give me some advice in that area because I've literally gone up a little bit the food chain as much as I understood. And
I don't know any. I mean, I'm just guessing if it's goes beyond. I mean, if what you're alleging is
the problem is nobody responds. Nobody responds, and it preceded COVID. I mean, this is obviously going on. He's been there for 14 years. It preceded COVID. I mean, and to say that if you have a system that's this busted and broken, why the heck would you be making decisions for busted and broken families? I mean,
because
that's just
there are other people who obviously think he's great.
No, nobody thinks he's great. I promise you when I tell you he ran unopposed. So how do you vote? Who's your other choice? You know what I mean? Nobody voted for him.
I know.
I mean, come on. But right now we have a problem that we need to take emergency situation at, and I'm calling everybody and their uncle, and nobody has an answer, which that tells me there's no oversight. There's no oversight. There's no accountability.
Oversight. No, you are correct. There is no oversight on determining whether a judge is. That is determined by the office or the Commission on Judicial Conduct.
Okay, so how can we hold them accountable to do something about this emergency dire situation? I've got children. How would you feel if you had mothers committing suicide and children that are literally regressing from walking to crawling, pooping their pants, being molested, and he does not listen to these women? All right, and this is happening. What do we do?
I understand what you're saying. I do. But it's people, there's really not anything that we could do about it.
So and
especially in family court is one of you're not there because you all agree with things. So it's an adversarial court anyway. for custody and visitation and support and all that stuff that happens. And somebody who's happy and somebody who's not.
But that is such a, can I say something, Paula?
No one's happy.
Wait, Paula, let me just say something, okay? Like, I understand that. That's like, 101 basics, okay, what you just said right there. But we're talking about victims versus perpetrators, and we're talking about a man that is intentionally robbing mothers from, stripping them without any finding of unfitness whatsoever, violating the law on every single aspect of the law. He is violating at that bench. He's abusing his power. He's abusing women and children. He's abusing victims of domestic violence and their children who are victims of child abuse. And it's not as simple as saying, "Oh, that's already adversarial." No, it's not that simple.
I was not meaning to minimalize that. I understand that, but it's also, you have to understand that we don't have oversight.
So now, why did I go to you? Why did I go to you when it says if you have complaint about? I'm reading it right here. If you have a complaint about an court, he is an employee of the court.
What you can do is you tell me that you have a problem with the judge, and I would refer you to judicial conduct.
Okay, now we just found out that we've been filing complaints. We've been filing complaints.
Did you appeal the decision that gave your?
Yes, we're all doing that now. Everybody's doing that. We're also complaining against Amy Ingram, who literally lies, and we have under oath statements that she's been lying. She just lies. She also thinks that she's a therapist now too. She's also telling people that she's a therapist now too, when she's just an attorney. Okay, no, not just. Excuse me, I didn't mean it that way. She's an attorney. She's crossing lanes, and nobody does anything. Nobody does anything. They treat people like they're less than human.
Did you report her to her boss?
Yes. I've reported her now to the, well, first of all, here's the sad part about it. Let's talk about how sick the system is and how backwards. When you report to the Child Attorney Grievance Committee, or whatever they call that, they will not do anything until the case is closed. These cases never closed, and you never can complain. And I said, that doesn't make an ounce of sense. Think of how stupid that is. It's actually ignorant. So you have somebody that's doing wrong, but until the case closes, it continues to allow them to continue to do wrong. But not just wrong to children. That's sick. So you can go a little higher to the
What agency does she work out of?
She's Ingram Law Firm, and she literally, I can show you literal.
Oh, so she's from a law firm, and she's a court-appointed attorney.
She's Amy Ingram, and that's her own law firm. She's never had the same office in all the years I've known her. She was started in 2014. She moves every year. I don't think she pays her rent, and they kick her out, and she gets another one. She's really bottom of the barrel. Ignorant beyond words. If you see the way she writes, you have to correct her grammar and spelling. It's actually scary. It's scary that this is what they appoint to children. Ignores abuse, doesn't even understand her title.
Did you report her to the entity that appoints court attorney?
They say that they can't do anything until the cases are closed, and the cases don't close to 18. People are left in a quandary. They're literally left between.
Let's stop for a minute and think. Next step is to report her to the entity that appoints attorneys. I'm going to look into that.
A rock and a hard place. The Committee on Judicial Conduct ignores. The Committee for a Human Rights Commissioner ignores. Where do we turn? This is psychotic.
Then your only avenue is appeal.
We're in the decision. So we're all in the appeals process, and right now the family court judge, what he does is he keeps the cases in limbo. So you can't appeal something once it's in limbo. So he
made a decision to award custody to somebody else, so you can appeal that decision.
We are in the process of doing that. We are. But right now, because I'll give you an example. My case, for example, I'll give you mine, is there's a motion to vacate that was supposed to be signed, denied, or granted by the 21st. The Supreme Court already said I have a sure win. It's a full, clear case retaliation in my case. Clear. It doesn't get any more clear. So they already said that, but they can't touch it until he denies or grants. So we are looking at, right now, January, what? He hasn't signed it one way or the other. He's keeping me in limbo. He's spiteful. This is a very sick individual. He needs a mental health examination. That's why we're going to go public with all these women, because if he doesn't get arrested, if he doesn't get removed, we're going to make it where he can't go get breakfast out in public anymore, because he's destroying our children. It's heartbreaking to see what's happening to these kids. My son comes to me crying hysterically. I want to come home. I have messages from him saying, get me out of this house. That little girl that was murdered a block from his house. Amy Ingram told the father, if he's mature enough to walk the streets, and it's up your decision. Because according to her, mature children don't get shot by bullets. Only immature ones do. It's just sick. And the suffering is off the charts. And and I can speak on behalf of all these other families because I've been advocating for them for years. I know every single case, but I'm begging you, there's got to be something we can do as just the community here to do something to get this man off this bench. We don't know. We've done
beyond
everything.
The court system. If you want to get the community involved, that's up to you, and that is.
Well, that's why I'm calling everyone. That's why I'm calling everyone.
Yeah.
I'm calling everyone.
I know my answer to you is not great, but you have two avenues open to you: judicial conduct and then appeal.
Okay, so we're going to have to hold judicial conduct accountable and the Human Rights Commission accountable. We need to hold them accountable for not doing their job. They're being paid to do a job that they're not doing. So what's going on with the Committee on Judicial Conduct? They're ignoring all these cases. We don't, like I said, we're not getting any response. We're not getting
respond at all.
They don't respond at all. I had a nice lady, and I don't know if it was you. I can't remember because I don't have my notes in front of me. I had a nice lady with the Committee on Judicial Conduct that answered the phone, and she tried like hell to get them to respond, and they did not respond. So I mean, something has to get something. I can go so far, and I do. I go as far as I go farther than I could go, and attorney's office, the assistant DA, you name it, I've called them. I've been there. I've been to the FBI. I've been to the Department of Justice. I've been there. I've been to Congress. For heaven's sake, I've been there. I did a briefing. I can show it to you. I have the minutes and I have the timeline and I have everything from the Excellence Initiative. And they don't respond either. Not even respond with a freaking automated response to the families when you're writing into them. Nothing. Like we don't exist. But the damages that are being done, like if there was ever an actual judge, which one day there will be, God, but if there's actually an actual judge that looked at all of this, these people would be in prison, every last one of them. I mean, let's face it, they would be.
Oh, there's no phone. Okay, hold on, please.
Okay. So, isn't there a judge?
I understand everything that you're saying.
Isn't there a judge over him? Isn't there a judge over him that you can speak to?
No, there is not, because they are elected officials.
So they just do whatever they want with no accountability.
Correct.
And the only place that actually...
Did you guys hear that? So they do whatever they want with no accountability? She said correct.
Accountability is the vote and the Judicial Conduct Commission.
And they're not, like I said to you, so the accountability needs accountability, doesn't do anything. So what do? There's got to be something. I mean, otherwise the place should just be shut down because if there's Kentucky Fried Chicken has accountability over it. The highest CEO in any business has accountability over it. Everything has accountability. But a family court judge.
You're talking corporations and private. Mm-hmm. And even in government, there's commissioners and people who oversee, but not over elected officials.
So they can do whatever they want. They can violate
Congress. The only people who get to tell a Congress.
How are we their boss and then they don't obey us? Like, this is sick.
Because that's what the vote is for, so...
Okay, but there's no vote because we can't vote him in and we can't vote him out because it's a big, like I said. So something has to be done. There has to be, people...
Well, that's where you could be of value, is that you could help start a movement to run somebody against him. So he doesn't get reelected
But we can't...
I'm going to run against that bastard.
Wait that long. We have children being abused and mothers being abused.
I know it, ma'am.
Now.
That's why I say that. So get your appeal in, and they'll hear it. That's what you have to do. Don't wait on those.
This is actually scary. It's literally scary. I'm not the only one. We've got, like I said, 32 mothers right now. 32. There has to be people who can get together and boot his ass off that bench. I mean, this is disgusting. Yeah. This is disgusting. I know, and no matter who I talk to, nobody likes him. I know nobody, but his own Democratic Party gave him the thumbs down. Frivolous litigation, and it's actually...
Hold on.
How are we their boss and then they don't obey us? Like, this is sick.
Because that's what the vote is for, so...
Okay, but there's no...
Bear with it, I'm sorry for the repeat.
We can't vote him out because it's a big, like I said. So something has to be done. There has to be, people...
Well, that's where you could be of value, is that you could help start a movement to run somebody against him. So he doesn't get reelected.
We can't wait that long. We have children being abused and mothers being abused.
I know it, ma'am. And that's why I say that. So get your appeal in, and they'll hear it. That's what you have to do.
This is
Don't
actually-
wait on those.
This is actually scary. It's literally scary. I'm not the only one. We've got, like I said, 32 mothers right now. 32. There has to be people who can get together and boot his ass off that bench. I mean, this is disgusting. This is disgusting. I know, and no matter who I talk to, nobody likes him. I know nobody, but his own Democratic Party gave him the thumbs down. Frivolous litigation, and it actually becomes a crime if you keep letting somebody go in and file. So what he'll do is he'll keep letting these abusive fathers file. 13 years. From 2007, now we're pushing 2021. I'm still there. How is that? Think about that, okay? That's abuse beyond, okay? And that's all these other families too. Everybody. They don't ever let you go, but they complain about case overload. No, these are simple cases that you can literally fix quickly. You could put some anger management things. You could restrain parents from abusing children. There's so much you could do, but he doesn't do it. So they're held accountable too, and I have the laws that govern that are fundamental, that are non-negotiable federal laws, that the clerks are actually the ones that would be in huge trouble for if they were held accountable properly. So it seems okay that they just rubber stamp, but no, that's not true. There's an accountability. You see, ignorance of the law doesn't mean that you can get away with that. Let the layperson get away with anything when there really is ignorance, because what would you need an attorney for in the first place? So that's actually incorrect. So if you can start dealing with maybe the clerks, that would be a good way, and then I would be more than willing to give you the evidence that I have on them, because I do. So we've been the Trojan horse in there for a long time. The abused victim has been the Trojan horse in there for a long time, so we have the information. But so, all right, I'm going to try, I don't know. I mean, the Committee on Judicial Conduct, I have no idea. We've tried to find accountability over them. We have been unsuccessful in that as well. I don't know what else.
Go to their website and see it. I believe it's by appointment, so.
All right, I will, as soon as I hang up with you, I'm going to try that. All right, well, have a good New Year's
Now,
Eve.
I ended that, but there's more, so hang tight. I'm just trying to find it. I don't know why this thing skipped. So please bear with me, everyone, because I have where she talks about the amount of complaints that have come in on Anthony Mcginty. Hold on. Just give me a minute, because I don't know why this is doing this.
How are we their boss and then they don't obey us? Like, this is sick.
Because that's what the vote is for.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, but there's no
This is the one I need, and it's skipping for some reason. That's not where we need to go.
frivolous litigation, and it
I'm going to ask you guys to wait. I'm going to try to pull.
frivolous litigation, and it's
my
actually
God.
so. I mean, isn't there a
I
judge?
understand everything that you're saying.
Isn't there a judge over him? Isn't there a judge over him that you can speak
No, there
to?
is not, because they are.
The one I need is this one, and it's not letting me.
Frivolous litigation, and how are we their boss and then they don't obey? Frivolous litigation.
Just a moment, guys. Bear with me. I
Frivolous
don't know why this is happening, and I'm sorry, everybody, for
Frivolous.
the skipping.
Frivolous.
This is so important. This is like the biggest part of what she says, and it's skipping.
How are we their boss and then they
Not
don't
that
obey
one.
us?
We did that already.
Frivolous litigation.
Not sure why it's doing that. I hit the thing, and it goes to the wrong one.
Frivolous
Shut up.
litigation.
Shut up. So in the meantime, I guess while I'm trying to get the rest of this, she talks about how many come in from,
How are we their boss and then they don't obey us?
not that one.
Frivolous litigation.
It's amazing. I hit the one on top, and it goes to this one. Very strange.
Frivolous litigation.
No, shut up. I'm going to try it one more way. See if we can get this. Okay. There's one more way I can do this, my friends. Just hang tight. I'm going to try to do this.
I talked to them myself. I had one guy on vacation. He actually stayed on the phone with me and said, "Don't worry, I want to hear you, and we're appalled by his behavior." They said that they're appalled by his behavior, and he was the head of the Democratic Party. I was stunned. I was literally stunned. And I'm not a Democrat or a Republican because I try to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is.
Unfortunately, that's again.
So he's an employee of the court, though. Is that not correct? Skip the voting part.
No, he's not an employee of the court.
Who pays him? Who pays him?
He's the state.
Through
New York
what?
State pays his salary.
Through where? So there's an employee of New York State, and he's an employee of New York State.
Now, of course, I know the answers to this, but I'm doing this for, proof.
If he's getting paid by the state.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should call the governor. I
The
don't
governor
know.
ignores.
There's nothing that.
Hold on, the governor. The governor. That would be Como. Hold on. I gotta catch my breath.
Governor ignores. The governor ignores. Governor Cuomo doesn't care. He doesn't care about the women and children. We've already dealt with that. He doesn't. You should even hear it's psycho. He does not care. The governor.
So,
Matter of fact, he would be his boss, and he's.
So we have more. Hang on. This gets really good, guys. Sorry for the snoring in the background. That would be my dog.
He's an elected official. There's nobody that tells him what to do or how to do it. That's all there is to it. So it's judicial conduct or appeal.
Okay, so can we hold since I'm calling you with who hires judicial conduct employees that are ignoring these families?
I believe the judicial, you can, if you go online and go to their webpage, it talks about who they are and I believe they are appointed to the commission.
So they're not elected.
Right.
So they would be court employees?
No,
They're part of the unified court system. They're part of the unified court system. They deny it, but they are.
That has nothing to do with us. I don't know who pays them or whatever it is, or if there's a fund that pays, or I don't even know if they're paid. They may not be paid. The employees might be paid, but not the.
Got more for you, my friends. Got more for you. Hang tight. I found a way to be able to play this for you without losing track.
You have to read up on it. It should be there on their webpage, who they are and what they are.
And what is your title? What is your title, Paula? Like, I didn't even ask you.
I'm called a senior management analyst.
Senior management analyst. So don't you speak with others with regards to, people that are unethical, violating canons, violating American disability?
I hear it all the time. I do hear it all the time.
About Mcginty specific or just all kinds of judges?
It's always family court judges, and it's frequent.
Isn't it sad?
Across the board in our 7 counties. Across the board, so.
And we, the people, can't do something about this together as a unit.
Well, but you have to do it outside. I mean, we have no.
All right, let me ask you one more question.
All right, I got one more question coming, my friends. Hang on.
At the damages, we cannot live like this in America. They have affiliation to anything at all. This is just kind of like I always think outside the box. I don't know if you do. Maybe you'll come up with something after we talk, or you'll meet, who knows, with your capacity and where you work, that I can potentially start to educate these judges, and that we can bring some public forum in, that the stuff stops being covered up, like Judge Judy did. I mean, she put cameras in, which was. I'm not saying everything she does is perfect or right, and I do like a lot that she does, but she did the right thing. She brought cameras in. It does help. It does change the accountability aspect. Is there anything we can do? And maybe you can't answer that right now.
Cameras. I don't think family court allows cameras.
Well, whether they do or not, we can change policies. Policies and procedures have nothing to do with the Constitution. They're actually in violation of the Constitution. And I can correct that. And that's why I'm saying if I could come in and educate, if I could start coming in and educating, because you see, you have the real laws, and then you have the family court policies and procedures. And if you ever saw my speech, the family court was never voted in. It's treason on American soil. That might sound really crazy at the damages. We cannot live like this in America. They have no right to do this to these families. And then the abused children stay in abused homes. What's the point? And it affects everybody.
Social services should get in on it. I don't know.
Hold on while I stop there. So social services. Yeah.
You know, I would just say, try and find whatever's open to help your cause.
Well, take my
Okay, so I gave her my
Frivolous
telephone
litigation.
number at that point, and there you have it, my friends. There you have it. Pretty sickening, isn't it? Yeah. America, America, the land of the free? Huh?